Hi, welcome back to my channel. So let's get a message specifically for Divine Feminine now. So taking a look into Divine Feminine's situation just briefly and see what guidance would like to come through using the Divine Feminine Oracle. So let's see what cards would like to come out for Divine Feminine energies today. It's really interesting. So the way the cards shuffled for a moment there, it was as if Divine Feminine's energy was, it was like making the Divine Masculine succumb and lay his cards upright on the table. It was as if that was the message. Thank you. Okay. So a few more shuffles now. And let's get a message for Divine Feminine. Okay. So Divine Feminine, what's your energy at this present time? What's the energy around Divine Feminine at this present time? Let's take a look. Thank you. So we have Inanna. Well, that's so interesting because I saw Inanna as I was shuffling. The Queen of Heaven and Earth. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. Very interesting. As I was saying about the energy being that Divine Feminine's energy was alluring Divine Masculine to lay his cards on the table upright. Like, be your true self. Show who you really are. That's Divine Feminine's energy today. With Bridget at the bottom of the deck here. The goddess of the eternal flame. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. Okay, Divine Feminine, so these are your cards, our cards. Thank you. So let's find our messages. Inanna. Okay, let's find Inanna. Thank you. With Bridget, thank you. So lovely. Okay, Divine Feminine. So Inanna, the Queen of Heaven and Earth. Who is Inanna? Inanna represents the power that comes back to us when we accept and integrate our shadow. I've got a feeling that I may like to change the pronunciation of her name and call her Inanna instead. Inanna was the prominent female deity in ancient Mesopotamia. Oh my goodness me. My brain's going into a jumble. Let me show you the word here in this place. Thank you. At the height of her worship around the Uruk period of 4000 to 2000 BCE, excuse the pronunciations, temples and shrines dedicated to Inanna lined the Tigris and Euphrates rivers marvellous. Her name is Sumerian for Lady of Heaven. Her temples housed her priestesses, and they each would take a man to bed with them on the spring equinox to reenact the divine marriage, or Hieros Gamos, between Inanna and her consort Dumuzi. You say tomato, I say tomato. The Hieros Gamos is an ancient ritual of uniting the opposites from within, the male and the female, the light and the dark, and most especially heaven and earth. This theme occurs in accounts of Inanna's descent into the underworld to find her sister, Ereshkigal. She must take off an article of clothing at each of the 7 gates, so that when she finally reaches her sister, she is naked, and when Inanna ascends, she does so with Ereshkigal's power. When your soul selects her card, Inanna goes into the depths of her own unconscious to merge with her twin sister self. She becomes more powerful because she is no longer using conscious psychic energy to keep her shadow or negative attributes hidden deep underground. She courageously descends and faces the aspects of herself that are hard to get to where she's fully dressed or cloaked heavily in the ego. Inanna, let me read that part again. She courageously descends and faces the aspects of herself that are hard to get to when she's fully dressed or cloaked heavily in the ego. Inanna is an invitation to get naked. She wants us to drop our defenses. She wants us to see how holy and sacred it is to be vulnerable. As above, so below. This is an alchemical adage that suggests heaven and earth are not so separate. It suggests that within us, deep down in the dark cages where we place parts of ourselves, the truths that exist there also exist right here on the surface of our everyday lives. So if we are exerting great amounts of energy to keep from seeing our shadow, it is actually playing a large role in our unconscious, it doesn't say that, in our conscious life. When we face what we think is dark or negative about us, I mean really embrace it and see it for what it is. A beautiful broken place that's a call for love. Then we can emerge more whole. We can marry the light and dark aspects of our being, and in uniting with our twin sister from the depths, we can stop projecting her onto other women. We can see and own the hot mess we often are and not get sabotaged by it. The light must cast a shadow, and the high priestess is the one who gets called to love them both. Soul voice meditation. Can I love my shadow as much as my light? Intention. I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. Let's just plug my charger in. Okay, Bridget. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. I mean, how amazing are these cards? We have twins and an eternal flame. Who is Bridget? Bridget represents the essence of an inner dawn and the healing that comes from knowing that the best is yet to come. Bridget is the goddess of pre-Christian Ireland. She is associated with the Indo-European dawn goddess and the coming of spring. She is celebrated in a Celtic festival called Imbolc that takes place halfway between the winter and spring solstices. It is said that at the moment between dusk and daybreak, Bridget arose into the sky with flames like rays of the sun blazing in her hair. There's a shrine near Kildare in Ireland that is sacred to the Druids because it was believed to have been a place where Bridget's priestesses tended to her eternal flame. This is where they learned the ancient healing practices that are associated with Bridget, and this is where, in 480 BC, Saint Bridget built a monastery in honour of the goddess and created a communal and consecrated centre for women's religious life and learning. Bridget is associated with poetry and with all things elevated, states of being, high rising flames, lofty dimensions, elevated wisdom. She is said to have created the whistle for calling out. Oh, that's so funny. I whistled in my last reading that I uploaded. She is said to have created the whistle for calling out from one person to another while walking through the night, which lifts the wanderer with its levity and reminds her she's not alone. So when your soul selects her card, there's that moment when you're making your way through the dark, and suddenly, after what feels like days or months or even years, a ray of light comes through to you. A lightening happens. Each step isn't quite as hard to make as the one before, and you feel a great shift begin, as if now you're headed toward something new, something even brighter. Bridget is the essence of that first flame, that first ray of light. Bridget reminds us that the darkness, it never lasts. Bridget's eternal flame represents the truth that the light never leaves us and can never be extinguished. It simply gets obscured or blocked from us. She reminds us that every day is actually filled with light. There are many days and times in our lives when we endure thick cloud cover, when that flame that exists within us is blocked by pain or confusion. Brigid is the sweet sound that reaches us in the dark and reminds us that we have never been on this journey alone. Brigid is our sign that the dawn is here, because we have made it through the dark winter. We can lift our head. The healing has happened. And now each day, and now each next day, is bound to be brighter. Soul Voice Meditation. What allows me to feel light more often every day? Intention. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. Much love, everybody. Take care.